Hello, and welcome to Cabaret Beat. I'm your host, Wydetta Carter, and as a singer-actress myself, I am excited to bring to you this new virtual series from the Chicago Cabaret Professionals. Until we can all come to the cabaret again at all our favorite spots, we are coming to you with some of your favorite singers, new voices you may not have heard before, their stories, and of course, great music. Today's guests are Catherine Thomson and Charles Kouri, featuring Alyssa Carlson. There's never been a more important time for us to engage, connect, and share our experiences through music and conversation. So, let's join in the chat, share with your friends, and let's begin the Cabaret Beat. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Miss Catherine Thomson.
There are many minds in circulation, believing in reincarnation. In me you see one that doesn't agree, challenging all possible affronts. I believe I'll only live once, and I want to make the most of it. If there's a party, I want to be the host of it. If there's a haunted house, I want to be the ghost of it. If I'm in town, make me the toast of it. I say to me every morning, you've only one life to live, so don't be done in. Let's let the sun in, and gloom can jump in the rear. No need to beat on the doldrums. Let's be imaginative. Our days are numbered, no good when slumbered. You've only one life to live. Why let the goblins upset you? One smile and see how they run. And what does worry net you? Nothing. The thing is to have fun. All this may sound kind of hackneyed, but it's the best I can give. Soon comes December, so please remember, you've only one life to live. You may say I'm an escapist, but I would rather by far be that than be a red tapist. Lead me, speed me, straight to the bar, straight to the bar. Just laugh at old man repression and send him into oblivion. Then you're the winner. I'm off to dinner. You've only one life. You've only one life. You've only one life to live.
Hello, Catherine. How are you?
I'm well, Wydetta. I'm so excited to be here. I've been really looking forward to this.
Oh, so have I. So have I. So let's get started. I'm going to read a little something here that I found on you. So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
It's been said that you sing like a canary and move like a cat, and that you create a world of sweet melodies and savory lyrics with your show, The Rich Diet of Life, a musical feast of delectable ditties. Okay, so now before we get to the sweet and savory, let's find out how you came to be a canary and a cat.
Yeah.
So let's go back. How far do you want to go back? Childhood, teen years, college? You go.
Okay. Well, I think music has been something in my life since I was very young. I grew up with my mother singing. I started playing the piano when I was 4. I was in, the church chorus, the school chorus, did a musical in high school, but my main instrument was actually French horn, and I went to university as a French horn performance major. That changed pretty early in my career, and I kept singing for fun and playing the piano, but life took me overseas for almost 2 decades, and things were too busy really to focus on singing. So I was really happy when I came back to the States in 2006 and I joined a church choir. Then I started taking voice lessons. Someone said, hey, why don't you audition for this conference out at Yale? And I thought, well, there's no way I'll get in because I'm used to singing at the back of a church in a choir robe, right? Nobody sees me. I'm not in front of people. But I thought, auditions are always good. So I went ahead and lo and behold, I got in. And I was by far and away the least experienced person there. But it was really it was a great experience. And it introduced me to the broad array of art that you find in this world we call cabaret.
Oh, so, but something unique happened while you were there. So you can go ahead and share that story.
Well, I will. I mean, the faculty were fabulous. From Chicago, we had Mark Brunell as one of the music directors. But for our final performance, I had a team of directors, Pamela Myers and Faith Prince. And Faith Prince, I think, took pity on me as this inexperienced person and took me down below the performing area to one of the dressing rooms. I think the day before we were ready to go up for our final show, she handed me her sunglasses and she said, this is your mic. And we're going to help you remember where you need to be, what you're singing. We're just going to help you to absorb your song. Let's do it. And so we blocked everything out. And I just felt it was such a generous, this was Faith Prince, and I was alone with her in this dressing room, beneath the stage at Yale. And I found that, that was Faith Prince. This community is like that. People really, they want you to succeed and they reach out and help. And it's been fabulous.
Wow. And so what do you recall the song that you ended up performing there?
Yes, I do. I Want to Be Bad.
Uh,
Tin Pan Alley song, and it was very fun.
oh my goodness, that's very funny. I Want to Be Bad. I think there's a theme with you here. Okay, so, but it says you move like a cat too. So are you a dancer?
Oh no. In fact, I'm working on a show with a working title called I Won't Dance.
There's a song, isn't it? I won't dance, don't ask me.
Yes.
Isn't there? Yes.
Yes. I need to remind myself.
So, okay, I have to ask, I know you're still working on it, but is it a song? Are you singing songs about dance in a show about not asking you to dance?
Yes.
I love it. You don't have to say anymore, but I just think that's brilliant. I love those little switches that go like that. Oh my goodness. So you've collaborated on a lot of shows, and I mentioned one earlier, the sweet and savory, the rich diet of life. The rich diet of life. So tell me about that.
We used food as a metaphor for lots of things, and it's not hard to find songs where food represents all sorts of appetites. And I worked with Becky Menzie on that show, and as you know, she's a fabulous music director, and I helped with her to gain so many insights. So that was one show where I was the sole vocalist, but had the chance to work with Becky, which was great. I stopped singing for a bit. Sort of in the early teens, and I have to thank Duncan Moore, who was also at the Yale conference with me, and he and I did our first show together, so again a collaboration. He kind of brought me back to it with the Bernstein at 100 show, and he formed up a quartet, including Anita Callan, with whom I now collaborate quite a bit. and Jason Martin, and we celebrated the 100th anniversary of the birth of Leonard Bernstein. So I love singing harmony, and of course that's hard to do in a solo show, and so it's nice to be able to collaborate with really talented people from the cabaret community.
You just said something that I think is very funny. You said it's hard to do harmony in a solo show. Don't you think it'd be interesting if somebody did a show and all they did was the harmony parts? And you,
That just
I don't know how it would
As I
sound.
said it, I thought, okay, Wydetta, we need to do one together.
And there you go. There you go. She said it, folks. I guess we have to start working on that one.
That would be my honor.
So you have, you did say you collaborate, and there's a show called Her Story, the 19th Amendment. And you've been working on that and have performed that with there's a partner there.
Anita Callan, yes.
And I know it's been well over a year, if not 2 years, that you've been doing that show.
Right.
So can you tell us how you came to, collaborate together for this? Because it's very, I've seen it and it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Thank you. Well, and Anita approached me with the idea of celebrating the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment, which gave women the right to vote. There are certain elements of suppression that I think we all recognize still exist, but that was the purpose of the amendment. It was passed out of Congress to go to the states for ratification in 1919. So we launched the show then as the beginning of that process of the 100th year celebration. We were all tipped up to perform it in a week-long program featuring shows built around themes around women at Davenport's during Chicago Cabaret Week last year, you may remember. And then came COVID. So we had booked the show widely around the Chicagoland area, and lots of live performances had to be canceled. But there was one organization, a corporate group, who had booked us for a show in August, which is the month of when the amendment was ratified. And they just refused to take no for an answer. They refused to give up. And so Anita and I can barely figure out how to charge my cell phone, but we figured out how to create a digital show. Now, was this on us? No, we worked with Steve Wright, who was brilliant with the filming. Thank God for Skokie Theater letting us use their space. Becky Menzie did a great job again. She created tracks for us so that there were a very limited number of people in the theater space. And if you've seen it, you know that we operated 10 feet apart. I think we know from science now that probably didn't matter, but it made us feel safer at the time. And we didn't interact with one another, which made it a challenge because you're so used to singing to someone and playing off each other. But we tried to create it as safely as we could. And then we put it out there, and lo and behold, it's been broadcast to audiences from across the country because, of course, Zoom gives us that ability. It played Dallas, or I played Dallas, I should say, because someone booked it to broadcast in a sort of a community, a neighborhood event. And so it's gotten a lot more exposure, I think, than we had feared, because so often with those windows of opportunity, I think women's right to vote should be celebrated every day.
Right.
But those 100th anniversaries don't come around more than once in your lifetime.
So are there any plans now that it's opening back up that, to do it live? We
would love to do it live. Anita and I are also working on another show featuring stories and songs about women trailblazers. And in addition to the dance or don't dance show, I'm working on a tribute to another strong female character from the music industry, Helen Reddy.
Helen Reddy.
Yeah.
I am woman, hear me roar.
Yes.
Wow, that's wonderful. You just started working on it, or is that something that's going to come up very shortly?
I'm hoping to get that on its feet in the autumn. I've been working on it for a while. There's so much more to Helen Reddy than I Am Woman, but of course that's the iconic piece that people think of. So it's been really fun to kind of dig into that.
So and how did you find the Chicago Cabaret Professionals? What was that journey?
I joined, I think on my way to Yale. I don't mean physically while I was on the plane, but I knew I was accepted for the cabaret conference there, and started, thinking around, well, surely there's a support network here in Chicago, and lo and behold, there was Chicago Cabaret Professionals. And so I joined then and have remained a member, active on the board in the past. I did take a little hiatus, as I said, from singing, but strongly back. And now I'm actually the treasurer on the board. So I've been active for 2 years on the board.
So is there anyone that you would like to collaborate with that you've met so far through the
other than
CCB?
You, Wydetta?
Well, we're going to make that happen, but
there's just so many people, and with the group shows and the what used to be and hopefully will again be Musical Mondays. There's always opportunities to work from people, and just going to people's shows and learning and experiencing that magic and seeing how everyone finds their authentic voice is wonderful.
So let's go back a little bit and tell us about some of the choices or what you actually have to think about when you are creating a show. Or is it something that just, pops into your head and go, oh, I want to do a show about that? What do you actually think of? What makes you go, yes, let me bring this?
I think for me, initially, especially when I was really much less experienced, I enjoyed the research a lot more than the performing, because I felt less vulnerable and less exposed. I think that's over time, you learn kind of what works and what doesn't in terms of musical content. I love doing the research, digging down, and sometimes there's a song that you just love and it sits well in your voice and you've got a great arrangement, but you can't shoehorn in 2 11 o'clock numbers, or you can't have 3 palate cleansers. And so you really have to pick and choose what best serves the story. And with the kind of shows that Anita and I do, and even the Leonard Bernstein show, there was a history to be told. So you couldn't land too much on a particular theme, because we had to cover a very long time span in the life of Leonard Bernstein, or in the history of women's suffrage from the beginning of the foundation of America till 1920.
Wow. So you have done a lot, young lady, in a short amount of time. So, I mean, you just took a hold of the reins and said, I'm going to go to this conference. I don't know anyone and I don't know what I'm doing. But then you meet Faith Prince and she helps you along your journey. So you're making great choices, young lady, just so you know that. And I'm looking forward to, whatever you are going to do next. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Can you tell me, was the Bernstein recorded, that salute, at all?
It was recorded when we did it up at Skokie. Okay.
Because that, you can't go wrong with that music. So, so thank you so much. Okay, I cannot believe time has flown that fast. Time. Where does it go? When you want it to be slow, it's not. But you're not going anywhere without singing a song for us, another one. So what are you going to do?
Well, Wydetta, sometimes it's better not to say too much. Johnny was bashful and shy. Nobody understood why. Mary loved him. All the other girls passed him by. Everyone wanted to know how she could pick such a beau with a twinkle in her eye. She made this reply: he's not so good in a crowd, but when you get him alone, you'd be surprised. He's not so much at a dance, but then when he takes you home, You'd be surprised. He doesn't look like much of a lover, but don't judge a book by its cover. He's got the face of an angel, but there's a devil in his eyes. He's such a delicate thing, but when he starts in to squeeze, you'd be surprised. He doesn't look very strong, but when you sit on his knees, you'd be surprised. At a party or at a ball, I'd have to admit he's nothing at all, but in a Morris chair, you'd be surprised. Mary continued to praise Johnny's remarkable ways to the ladies. And you know, advertising pays. Now Johnny's never alone. He has the busiest phone almost every other day. A new girl will say he's not so good in the house, but on a bench in the park, you'd be surprised. He's not so much in the light, but when he gets in the dark, you'd be surprised. I know he looks so tired and so weary, but you don't know the half of it, dearie. He looks as cold as an Eskimo, but there's fire in his eyes. He doesn't say very much, but when he starts in to speak, you'd be surprised. He's not so good at the start, but by the end of the week, you'd be surprised. On a streetcar or on a train, you'd think he was born without any brain, but in a taxi cab, oh boy, you'd be surprised. Keep that meter running, Johnny.
Catherine Thomson, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Wydetta. Some fireworks for the 4th of July.
Boom, boom, boom. You did it.
Thank you.
Take care.
I've loved it. Thank you. You too.
Hey everybody, I hope you're enjoying Chicago Beat as much as I am. I'm here to make a musical Moscow Mule. I already prepared some of the stuff. We've got our vodka, we've got our ginger beer, we've got our lime juice. We're going to start with 4 pieces of cucumber, a couple of mints. We're going to add our 1.5 ounces of vodka. And now we're going to sing a little bit while we muddle. The summer wind is blowing in across the sea. I'm making a musical Moscow Mule for you and me. And now it's muddled good and right, so I'll have to strain it in the glass. Hold on right now. Okay, it's all muddled, looking good. Strain this into our glass filled with ice. That looks beautiful. All right, we're going to add our ginger beer. I use the diet ginger beer because normal ginger beer has tons of sugar. Our lime juice. That looks great. Gentle stir. A little orange slice, a little lime slice. We're going to put in a twig of mint, and there you go. The perfect summer drink to enjoy while you're watching the rest of the series of Chicago Beat.
It's all new in 22. Freedom is sexy, women are cool. Cause the man took a chance and he changed the rules. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Having our way in 22. Press, reps, non-supreme dudes. Saying go on, smoke grass and screw. You're so mad you're turning blue. Ooh, ooh, ooh. On this 322, on this 322. There's a band that's also bad in a town that's getting down, on a street that's feeling the beat, with a band that's ready to jam. How's it gonna be when the word comes down? The wheels go round and the heels hit the ground. The world spins around with the wonder and the sound. All the sisters sing. Love is hope, love is true, love is pure, love is you. So much more than we can do. Ooh, 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 ooh. I got the wings, you got the throttle. Let's get far, far away. Make us a rocket, make us a rocket. You got the aim, I got the target. Let's shoot, shoot for a star. Make us a rocket, make us a rocket. We could take the potion and learn how to obey. You are my temptation, I don't mind the strange. We build a raging fire and wander into flames. Pillow is like lightning, turn my anger into rain. I don't mind the strange. Touch my lips, make a wish to never ever change. I don't mind the strange. Fill my world with motion, take my beat away. You are my sensation, I don't mind the strange. Found that new power, don't ever wanna tame. You fill the skies with thunder, turn my ocean into waves. I don't mind the strange. Touch my lips, make a wish to never ever change. I don't mind the strange. New York City, make believe we are creatures in a dream, going out to see the Queen. Pop art, film, and poetry, moving pictures on a screen. Immortal be the Queen. Hello, sugar, you're so big. Welcome to my goddess land. Life is boring, life is bland. Come with me to goddess land. Come with me to goddess land. Come with me to goddess land. Weirdo, homo, tomboy, creep. All the freaks at my command. Live with me in goddess land. Line to get in, push our way in. We are free in goddess land. We are free in goddess land. We are free in goddess land.
Hello and welcome, Charles Kouri.
Thank you, Wydetta. It's great to be with you.
Great to have you with us. I'm so thrilled. This is going to be a little bit of a different take on what we're doing today, and I think everyone who's been enjoying this series so far is going to appreciate this. So we're going to get right into it because time seems to fly so fast here. Your approach is not that of a vocalist.
That's right.
Yours is of a lyricist. So, for those who may not know, could you please explain what a lyricist is and what you do?
Yes, my role is to write the words that go with the song. And in the case of almost all the words I've written for songs, I've written the words first, and then a composer, along with a musical director or musicians, will craft a composition around those words. And what I have to do is often then respond to what they're telling me is working with the song or not working with the song. And I've had the good fortune to work with some great musical directors and composers. And the one person that I've worked with the most, Gary Bragg, who lives in Denver, has just been a great help to me to understand what a lyric is, how to make a good lyric, how to make a lyric that sings well, and how to make a lyric that will play well. And so those are skills I don't have because I'm not a performer. I'm not a really skilled musician. So to really understand how something I've written will sing and then will also be able to be performed is something I needed to learn. And I'm becoming more aware of that all the time. And so when he plays something for me, or I hear the song in a show, I'm really learning a lot, not only about the words, but the spaces in between the words, the pauses, the gestures, the expression. And oftentimes, you know, with a lyric, you find out that it's there's so much more that I didn't anticipate being in the song. And sometimes but anyway, it's a collaboration. And everything I do is really a collaboration. And it takes a series of collaborations to get a song right in a show. You're working with the composer, the musical director, and then the performers. And then often when it's put in the context of a stage show, when it starts to move and people are moving with the music, it all has to work together. And at the end, it's a song.
And what I find interesting is that, you know, there's a song and you can hear 4 different people perform that song and the interpretation is different. The lyrics are the same and the interpretation is totally different. How do you feel when you hear it done 4 different ways?
Yeah.
Do you even imagine that when you're writing the words?
I try to, and I'm trying to write often for a musical, I'm writing for a character. But as you said, it's different people playing that same character. And so even though they're being the same character in the show, their expression of the song can be very different. And also when you hear it with an orchestra or you hear it with all the people involved in the song. So a lot of the songs I write are for large groups. It's a musical, let's say with 6 people to 20 people. And so a lot of people are singing. So the impact of hearing the whole song is really tremendous. And I've learned so much about songs that I've written by talking to the different people who sing them and finding out what are they trying to express, not only for themselves, but also the character that they're playing. And so often it's hearing the series of people sing it that really give me insight into what the song really is about and what it means in the context of a show. So the first time you hear a song, it's Gary on a piano, and it's a simple expression of that music. But then as it gains, throughout the rehearsal process, different people might be singing it. And then in the shows, different people are going to be singing it. And it's great fun to hear people sing songs. And one of the things I think I learned is that when you have a good song, in a musical, people have to sing the songs. But when you see a lot of the cabaret performers that I've seen and seen the songs that they've chosen to sing because it means something to them, and they're taken from musicals and other, it's a great lesson to learn. Why do you choose a song, and what does it mean to you? And to see, and one of the first things I learned about cabaret was how different people make a song their own. And all the people you talk to on the show, it's just been a joy to see them perform and to hear about their life and how much some of these songs mean to them. So to me, yeah, hearing different people sing my songs or any song is really a treat.
That's wonderful. Yeah, thank you for that. I'd love that. And I think you just opened a lot of eyes to your side of the business per se, the business of creating music. So thank you for that. But let's go back a little ways. And what were you doing? Let's start maybe right out of college before you even found cabaret or musical theater. What were you doing?
I moved to Chicago from Milwaukee, where I was going to school. And my first job was as a writer. I was a writer on a publication. But I quickly transitioned into being a freelance writer, and I became a freelance reporter for the Chicago Tribune. I did that for several years. And then I became more involved in corporate work. So I've been doing basically corporate writing, corporate communication, so annual reports, speeches, brochures, advertising for 35 years now. And it was only about 10 years ago that I got interested in writing music. And it started really because I was directing a show in Aspen, met Gary as part of that experience, and we started talking about his show. He had a show that he was putting together, and it actually run and been performed in New York, but he was looking to rework it, and we started talking about things. And the next thing I know, I was collaborating with him on writing the book for this musical, doing some edits, and writing a few songs. And based on that, he encouraged me to find a show that I wanted to write, a topic I wanted to write about. And we started collaborating. And so over the past 10 years, I've written several shows with him and written some other songs for other people.
Okay, well, now let's talk about some of those shows you've written, because I know there's a one that you're working on right now that we heard earlier from 24 Words. But before you talk about that, are there others that you have done prior to that? And then explain some more about 24 Words. What's that all about?
Great, thank you. 24 Words is, as you said, the show I'm working on now. The first show I worked on with Gary, as I mentioned, it was his show and we were kind of reworking it. It was called The Ticket, and it was about a gubernatorial campaign. So a political focus for that show. And it was great fun to work on. It was an ensemble piece, and it was performed. He had done the show in various cities and had done a showcase in New York City. So he knew a lot about the full process of getting a show up and running and produced. So he taught me a lot about that. And the next show we worked on together was a show that I had thought I wanted to write, and he was encouraging me to write it, and he offered to be the composer. It was a show called Rebel. And Rebel is a show about women in particular, but a group of friends growing up in the 60s in the equal rights era for women. So it was really my first introduction to this topic of equal rights. And it was a show that was a rock musical. It is a rock musical. And we wrote all original music based on that era from about late 1950s through 1972. And we worked that whole show from the beginning, workshops, readings, staged readings, and have done a couple different staged readings in Chicago to get a sense of it. It's a big show. It's 17 actors at a minimum and a full orchestra. So one of the challenges of not only writing the show, but getting it produced is finding a way to do a big show. A big new musical can be difficult to get produced. And so we're working on that. But that show led us to 24 Words, which is also about the Equal Rights Amendment. 24 Words is literally the 24 words in the Equal Rights Amendment that would grant equal rights for women under the Constitution. And so those words have been floating around for over 100 years. And it's an amendment that should have been passed in the United States back in the 1920s when it was first introduced. But it took 50 years to pass Congress. And then it's taken another 50 years to get it ratified by the states and finally approved again by the Congress. So it's been a long process. And that particular show is really more of a cabaret style show rather than a big show.
Okay, well, I mean, you're in the city of Chicago, a cabaret show. Okay, I think you might be able to cast that show with some of our members.
Yeah.
Wow. So have you performed it anywhere yet? The
Yes.
24 words.
Yes,
Okay.
24 words. We started off with a workshop, and we performed a staged reading in 1915. We produced it in a short run in 2015, 2016. We did a short run. 2017, we did another short run, so that we were producing it in different venues, some theater spaces and some cabaret spaces, in part just to see how the show was working and to see it performed in different spaces. We performed it with as many as 12 actors and a larger band, and we've got it down now to 6 actors and a 3-piece band in order for it to really perform well in a cabaret space. But it's really a great cabaret show because we interact with the audience, we go out into the audience, it's more that kind of show. And we also produced it in Washington, D.C. as part of a Women's Equality Day event in August of 2017.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing. I don't know. Can I audition for it? I don't know. Just kidding.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean,
I have an in. No, I'm kidding. That's right.
Take this show, believe me. Yeah, treat that.
Thank you. So then who did you meet within the Chicago Cabaret Professionals that brought you to become a part of us?
Claudia Homel, who I met early on in my writing career, she was hosting a table at this event at the Cultural Center where people could come and meet arts organizations. And Claudia was representing CCP back then, and I was a novice. I didn't know very much, so I walked up to her table and she introduced herself, and I said, "What's the difference between a musical and a cabaret?" And she taught me right there, then and there. She gave me an explanation of what cabaret is. She encouraged me to join the organization. She gave me some CDs and she said, "You've got to join and you've got to get involved." And ever since then, she's been a mentor for the show because I've contacted her several times about issues I've had with the show, just questions about where we could produce it, things like that. And what I also learned about Claudia is she's very knowledgeable about the equal rights movement and about the history of women's rights in America. So she has been a great resource for that. And she's even done some talkbacks at our performances.
Wow, that's wonderful. Wonderful. Well, welcome. Welcome. We're so glad that you're a part of us. And I think your future is so bright. And actually, thank you so much for writing about women and the equality for women. That's never going to go away. We still have a lot of work to do, but I'd be proud to sing about it. So, time has flown. I am so sorry. We could talk for more, and guess what? You might just have to come back. But we're going to now listen to someone who has performed or has a lot to do with the show. So could you talk a little bit about Alyssa for us?
Yeah. Well, she's been involved in this show from the beginning. She was involved in the first staged reading. She's been involved in almost every production. She is an actor. She is a choreographer. She's choreographed this show. She is a multi-instrumentalist, and in the show, she plays piano, she plays drums, she plays guitar and violin. She knows this show better than anybody.
Does she know it better than you?
She does know it better than me because she performs it. She can tell me what's going on stage, and she's pointed out so many aspects of the show that as a writer, you need to understand the performer's perspective, the musician's perspective, the choreographer's perspective. So she has been so it's been such a blessing to have her involved in every step of the way. And in the Chicago community, she performs at the Redhead. She's a cabaret performer, and she's been in many shows at Paramount and in different places as a performer and as a musician. So she really understands music, musicals, and cabaret as well as anybody I know. And so it's been great to have her perform these songs for this particular segment.
And what song will she be performing for us now?
It's a song called Back to Even. It's about the history of where inequality started, and back with Adam and Eve, and where we are today. And it's a rock song, and she actually performs it in the show on piano. So this is this is a real glimpse into actually what the show sounds like, how this song sounds in the show with Alyssa singing it.
Pick a side, choose a fate, end up in a fall from grace. Shake the tree and take the bait. She fell in with the talking snake. See, the first woman caused you Eden, so we never ever get back to Eden. Say woman can't handle freedom, so we never ever get back to Eden. Paradise with a catch, blew the rules on obedience. I ain't begging for a fix, playing a damsel in distress. See, the first woman caused she eat, so I never ever get back to Eden. Took the rap for an act of treason, and we never ever get back to Eden. Do you want me to pretend? Feel the shame inside my skin. Be my lover, be my friend. Share my heart until the end. Starting over fair and square, got the angels running scared. Take the blame, baby, I don't care. Throwing down on a double dog dare. See, the first woman caused you Eden, so we never ever get back to Eden. Send me up for a life of treason, then we never ever get back to Eden. I will never surrender even. I will never surrender even. I will never surrender even. I will never. I will never. I will never. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much, Alyssa Carlson. Thank you, Charles Kouri. It has been a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing more of your work, listening to your work, and welcome to the Chicago Cabaret Professionals.
Thank you, Wydetta.
Take care.
Thanks.
Thank you all for tuning in to Cabaret Beat. Please visit our website at chicagocabaret.org to learn more about us, view our monthly calendar where you can see when and where our guests and other members are performing, and also the different ways you can join and or support Cabaret here in Chicago. I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.